Good evening, good morning, good night, you lovelies. It is the one, the only Cappy D Bar, and we're here to talk about the modern day Odyssey. You ready? One Piece! Chapter 1171. Alright, the chapter is titled Ragnir. And for all intents and purposes, I will not be talking about the cover story because it's a little silly. It's Zoro wearing cat ears with the cat. You guys happy about that? You guys happy? All right, let's get into the story. Okay, first thing that we notice when we get into this chapter, all right, very interesting chapter. We are going back to Quest Castle with Loki standing over Harold's body. He is very distraught and he's very upset as Loki kind of, relieves his anguishes. In the background, we hear Gaban and Shanks talk about the abyssal mark, right? We kind of discussed that this abyssal mark was the reason for Harold crashing out and doing everything he did. This leads to Shanks being very, very uncomfortable. All right, if any of you don't remember, Shanks also carries the abyssal mark that later gets eaten by the Sea King during that gets eaten by the sea monster, that gets eaten by the Sea King in East Blue, right? So, I really do think that Shanks just took advantage of the opportunity to lose an arm. Honestly, it seems like those theories are kind of hitting. Like low-key, the whole Shanks liberate, like the whole Luffy was the whole Shanks was the first person liberated by Luffy thing. It's kind of tracking, not gonna lie, it's kind of tracking. I'm not gonna hold you. I really also enjoyed Shanks just reliving the memories with his father, and also reliving the memories with Harold, because that is something that he was doing in Marijois, conversing with Garland, conversing with Shamrock, and trying to get an understanding of what the world government actually is. And it's funny because I recently seen this really amazing, this truly amazing Ace edit on TikTok, and it just reminded me, man, like the world government, they're evil. Like they're fucking evil. They do evil shit. They enact fucking acts of absolute, like they enact policies and laws that do nothing but hurt and dehumanize other people, other human beings, other non-human beings. It's insane the lengths that the world government will go to. And for some fans and for some people in the story to just be so pro world government, it's just crazy to me. For Garp to be a fully developed human, to be a fully developed grown man and be for the world government, and then his excuses, well, there are people like a Kobe and like a Helmeppo who just need protecting. My nigga, what about people like Koala? What about people like Bonnie? Why are those people just not deserving of any fucking protection because they're running around with non-pirates? No, you know what I mean? It's just, listen, I don't know. But looking at this, it just reminded me how much I fucking despise the world government. Anyone who's pro-world government for whatever reason, they're kind of a cunt. Honestly, like you're kind of a cunt. I'm just gonna keep it a stack with you, all right? You can't be pro the grapist in the fucking PDFs, all right? Marijois is filled with PDFs and grapists, and the world government the world government defends those people. How the fuck are you just, oh god, whatever. We go to Marijois, right? Speaking of the devil, and she will appear. Imu is discussing the effects of this attack from Loki. Loki packed up Harold was Dami reversied, and this leads Imu to huffing and puffing. Now, I think we can kind of assume that this leads into the kind of, I believe it's like the Homocrux theory, essentially where the Homocrux, essentially where a person's life force can be divvied off into different sections, like, Voldemort with the books, or even to a certain extent a lich, right, with like some vial of their soul or something like that. These are things that you have to fully destroy to take out Imu. And I really do believe, wholeheartedly, Imu is keeping her last Homocrux hidden somewhere. I don't know if it's under the Joy Boy hat, maybe it is the Joy Boy hat. But after the Gorosei is defeated, and after Imu is on her last legs, we are going to need to look inside these castles and look inside some of these rooms for the last Homocrux. And I don't know when we're going to be seeing it, but Imu, she is very powerful, and for her to be huffing and puffing as a result of this attack, it's crazy. She's even glazing Harold, saying like, hey, he had the blood of an ancient giant, and the strength of 1,000 men. How the fuck did this happen? This unprecedented event with somebody who just wanted to provide Elbath, with a proper who want to provide Elbaf with a proper coalition of neighboring nations, right? like somebody who wanted to solidify the cracks left behind by the world government. This is somebody who we allotted our power onto, and he fucking betrayed us, right? Imo makes a note that history will always find a way to prove itself right, and we can't ever forget that Elbaf is the D. We can't forget that Elbaf is of the D, meaning the same situation that was with God Valley and the Davy Pirates. It seems that every single person on Elbaf is of the Davy lineage somehow, maybe even the Joy Boy, Davy, or whatever, right? They are of the D lineage, meaning Loki is a D, Haruden, D, Harold, D. Like these are things that we should be addressing, and maybe this is something that was like lost to time by the world government. Maybe the same reason why the Galilei giants were frozen in time, maybe because they found out the secrets of the world and the secrets of their lineage, but that is something we'll be getting to later. It's also just nice to see that all of the Gorosei also. I mean, who's upset about that? Nobody. Just visually, they're nice to look at. Obviously knowing that their power levels are going to be our litmus test for most of our Straw Hats and maybe even some of our side characters like a Trafalgar Law. I really would like to see his interaction with one of the Gorosei. I think that'd be kind of cool. I think it'd be pretty interesting. But this little excerpt that we got from Emu was pretty surprising, to say the least. It was pretty surprising. After we go back to the Quest Castle, again, Loki he's mourning, and he's trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, right? What the fuck is going on, right? He knows that his father did not choose this for his own he knows that his father didn't choose this path for himself. So he decides that he will try to gain a little bit of knowledge and head out into the Seven Seas to get some information. Now, realistically, Loki should be heading to Marijois. I don't know if Loki knows where or how Marijois even operates, so I don't really see him going there. What I do see is Loki finding his way to a location maybe like a marine ford, right? He finds himself on an island controlled by the world government, something where he can just get his get back, because I don't really know where he intends to sail off to with his departure. As he tells everyone that he will be leaving to get some answers for the death of his father, he doesn't want anyone to speak a word of what happened here, right? And we flash back to the future, and this is why, when Loki returns from his voyage, he is still called Loki the Patricide, because he wanted to preserve this memory and this image of his father as somebody who's not only righteous. Against all currents in the Seven Seas, Herald's Tide was the most thorough, right? And it had the most purpose, and that seems like Loki is really trying to embody everything that his father couldn't accomplish, right? Just way back when. And it's unsettling to a certain extent that his ability, right, that he has gained in purpose, to kind of defeat his father, he's now going to be using that to avenge his father, right? And something that we do know has the ability to make Emu huff and puff. Like, literally, the Gorosei said, should we send another person out there? And Emu said no, because one of you would just get defeated as Harold was defeated, somebody who was an ancient giant. So saying all this to say that the gas we're getting for Loki, it's big, it's there, and honestly, it's fucking deserving, right? We flash back to the present day timeline, and Haruden is listening to all this just in shock, right? He's taking all this information for the very first time, and him and Loki, they essentially, they embrace, right? They find a way to come together and put past the history that is in between both of them, not only when it comes to Elbaf, but their father, right? This leads for Loki to jump up after one of the dream monsters falls into the primordial realm. Sanji takes up Gabon, right? And everyone's heading off into the fight. The flashback is officially over, right? We are running right back into this GUNKO Dami Reversely threat, and we see Loki. It's the craziest shit I think I've seen in a while. Loki, he hits the dream skeleton, the Dragor, right? At least like 30, 50 feet tall, maybe even larger, with a fucking attack titled Niflheim. Now, for those who don't know, Niflheim is one of the 9 realms in Norse mythology. I really do believe that this hammer can possess all 9 realms, including Jotunheim. Now, for those who are uneducated, I will put up this cute little map, right, detailing all of this 7 or 9 realms. Look at me calling people uneducated. With this, I do believe that this hammer should be able to empower all of these realms, including Alfheim, which I think is going to be very, very important when going up against Emu. Now, let's be honest, we did see Loki carrying a spear in that last, we did see Loki carrying a spear in the Harley text, right? The Harley text is that massive mural that we seen maybe like 20 or so chapters ago. I really do want to know what the fuck that spear is, but for right now, with this hammer and everything that we are getting with the Niflheim attack and him absolutely freezing this gargantuan fucking giant, most likely we will be able to get Muspelheim. We will also be able to get even maybe like Swordleheim. There is a dimension where, like, there is an incomplete realm where they're just dwarves. So like hypothetically, if we get a quote unquote dwarf version of the hammer that can now go to Usopp, there's a lot of real simple shit you can go along with this. But I think titling this chapter Ragnar and ending it off with this massive cliffhanger of the abilities of what exactly Ragnar can do, really goated shit. It also may be a play on the seasons. You know, as we talked about, there are elk that run across the Yggdrasil tree. Ratchanark chews on the vines of the Yggdrasil tree. So this could be a season kind of oriented thing. Like maybe it's like blossom, death, decay, heat, ice for like fall, spring, winter, and summer. Who knows where that's gonna go? What I really do know though is that Loki is easily top 10. He has Emu huffing and puffing, and his size alone, it negates any real threat, right? Like it negates almost any real threat. Like hypothetically, Loki can do what he did to this Draugr giant to an Ors Jr., right? And that is something that we have to just simply live with the fact that this is an ancient giant with a devil fruit, hypothetical mythical Zoan, and a fucking ancient weapon damn near. It's like Loki is up there, no question about it. And this is a great showing from him. This is a really fun chapter. It's definitely on the shorter side, but it gave us a lot to think about. And you know, even though there is a break next week, I will be releasing some One Piece content, try to get a further understanding of everything that we have gotten in Elbaf when it relates to the Harley text, because I do think we're a lot closer than you guys think. We're more than effective, and it has me in anticipation for the next chapter and for Loki's next move, because I need to see what the fuck that hammer can do. All right, really quick, I do want to see Robin and Usopp within the next 3 chapters, or I will crash the fuck out. Lastly, GUNKO has been up there kind of just stalling for 4 months, so let's see what kind of fucking damages she has enacted on a giant population. If it is not hell on earth, then you can keep it, Oda, respectfully. All right, that was chapter 1171. I had a great time being your boy Cappy. All right, and as I always say, stay tuned, stay safe, stay beautiful. All right, peace.